Good evening, everyone. I hope everybody had a good day today. It was very beautiful outside. We always hope that as individuals, we do take time to get outside and get some fresh air, especially this time of year when God blesses. I look at spring and fall as two nice seasons. But we also want to welcome people who are online, and we hope that they're able to get out as well. And we hope that they gain a blessing here this evening. And we're going to start off in the right direction, and we're going to start off with prayer, okay? Let us pray. Father in heaven, we want to thank you again for allowing us to be here this evening. Lord, we want to pray for the people who are watching online. Wherever they may be, Lord, or whatever time they watch it, we hope that what is said here this evening will be a blessing to them, and it'll draw them closer to you. May it be always to your honor and glory. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay, so we're going to jump right into some food for thought. And I'm going to invite my lovely wife, Kimberly, up here today again. Yes. And we decided to go right down the alphabet, and we switched it. Now we're down to D's, right, Kimberly?
Yes, Robert.
Okay, good. Anybody want to take a good guess? The reason why we like to have you guess on good fruits and veggies is, you know why? Because whatever things are lovely, whatever things are good rapport, whatever things are noble, we should be dwelling on those things, right? Well, did you know that the things that you eat should be good things, right? So we want you to think that. So how else is a better way than to get it in your brain, right? Mm-hmm. So anyway, letter D. Anybody got any ideas on fruits or veggies? Or nuts and grains or anything? Or herbs or anything like that? Pastor Moody's over here smiling, so he's got an idea.
Because he refused my dandelion last week, last night.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm trying dandelion again.
He's trying dandelion again. That's not what we're going to talk about this evening, because we're going to catch you off guard, that's why.
Oh.
No, can't catch him off guard when it comes to that stuff. Dill, very good.
Very good, yes.
How many people
Yes.
like dill? Well, a couple
Dillweed.
people, right? No, some are like, no.
As a matter of fact, I used it today. I was cooking.
Oh,
Very
nice.
good. You would not believe what good things are related to dill. But there's two ways you can buy this stuff. I look at it as two ways. No, actually there's three ways you can get it, but two ways that you can buy it. One is it's fresh. It comes in the little containers. Probably Pastor Moody, right? You get it this way?
No, I just use the butter.
But the dry stuff? Gotcha. And you know what? Either way, it's so potent, right? Have you ever, if you came over here, you can smell this, smell it a mile away. But Kimberly likes to buy this fresh, right,
Yes.
Kimberly?
Yes, I
Which
do.
is a good thing. But this has to be used up relatively quick because it hasn't been dried, right, Pastor? Otherwise, it's going to rot. Mm-hmm. But we also have the other kind, which is always in stores everywhere, is the little I'll say the dry formula, okay? Mm-hmm. But this one here can be on the shelves for quite a while. Mm-hmm. And you know what's so nice about dill is we had it in our garden just a few years back, and you know what? When I was in there, I would just go and snap a twig just so you can smell it, because it leaves such a fragrance. Yes, it is, right, Pastor? It leaves such a nice fragrance. That, and then there's some other things like mint and spearmint.
And basil.
Yeah, we used to just hit them or rip a couple leaves just so that when you're in there, it smells really good. Really, really nice. After all, where do we think fragrances come from? Plants again, right, Julie?
From God, yes.
Yes. The Lord made it
Yes.
before he made man. So all that was prepped before man, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to turn it over to Kimberly, and she's going to tell us some good things about dillweed.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Health benefits of dill. It's good for the digestive aid, gas remedy, good for kidneys and spleen, lowers blood pressure, improves appetite, increases circulation, helps milk production in nursing mothers, prevents infectious diarrhea, freshens the breath, used in picking as it inhibits growth of food-spoiling microorganisms, activates an enzyme that neutralizes carcinogens, natural antihistamine, clears respiratory congestion, activates bile and digestive secretions, helps maintain menstrual regularity, has calming properties, and can aid in insomnia, can halt the hiccups, and it's a diuretic and antispasmodic.
Uh-huh.
Has a lot of good things in there.
Yes. Did you ever think that little weed would have that much good in it?
And it has more too.
It has
Yes.
more to
Oh,
it?
yes.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it does.
Yeah.
So you're going to bring us a good Bible verse with that?
Well, I'm going to take this from The Desire of Ages, page 330. It says, worry is
Okay.
blind and cannot discern the future,
Mm.
but Jesus sees the end from the beginning. In every difficulty, he has his way prepared to bring relief.
Oh, amen to that, right?
And here's a different one, which is pretty good. It's not from any of those books, but it says, focus on Jesus, not the storm. Focus on Jesus, not the struggle. Focus on Jesus, not the pain. Focus on Jesus, not the worry. Focus on Jesus, not the stress. Focus on Jesus, not the past. Focus on Jesus, not the world. And focus on Jesus, not the distraction. So it's all about Jesus.
That's for sure. That's right. Yes. Give
Yeah.
God the glory, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so without further delay, but again, we always want to say, if you like dill, incorporate it. Maybe just put a little sprinkle on your salad or something, right, Pastor? You can do a lot of things with it. You know, have you ever gone to a restaurant and they used to put parsley on the plate, right, Pastor? And most people used to think that was a decoration, right? But the reality was that was probably one of the best things on there. But we would never eat it back in the day. No way. We'd just push that to the side. But that's just parsley. Now, dillweed is, again, totally different from that. But I'd love the smell. Just want to encourage you, hey, open up a nice little piece of dill and take a small sniff and see what it does, right? So now, without further delay, we're going to turn the microphone over to Pastor Moody, and he's going to give us what's going to happen tonight.
That's why I don't think. Okay. A very good evening. This evening, I have to tell you what's my presentation for tomorrow night. I'll do that. Okay, just to let you know, our presentation for tomorrow night is Revelation, Forgotten History. And without further ado, I'm going to just introduce the lady. But because I'm a preacher, I have to give you a little story. Can I give you a little story? And you probably heard this story already before. So there was an auction, and the auctioneer had a violin, and he was trying to auction it. He started at $100. Nobody wouldn't buy it. And he had to drop straight down to $20. And so as not to embarrass the owner of the violin, he didn't want to just, look, take back your violin and go. But before he could do that, the owner of the violin said, would you mind? And he took the violin and he played a piece with the violin. When he was finished, he said, well, okay, would anybody offer $20? One hand went up for $100, $200. Make a long story short, the violin was sold for over $2,000. Why? Because of the touch of the master's hand. This evening, I'm humble, but it is my greatest pleasure to introduce to you someone that I know is very profound and deep in terms of health. So I'm humbled to introduce to you my sister, Julie Dix. And I want to tell you that you're going to hear from a Stradivarius. Anybody know what a Stradivarius is? You don't have to tell me. And you're going to hear from, you're going to be able to appreciate a real touch from the master's hand.
Certainly don't deserve that introduction. Thank you very much. And thank you all for being here. Thank you for being online. So I wanted to start with really a Bible verse. Why should we take this very seriously into heart? So 2 Corinthians 7 verse 1, let us purify ourselves from everything that contaminates body and spirit, perfecting holiness out of the reverence for God. So this verse really shows us that we should be taking care of our bodies as a form of worship to God. And that's what I'm entering all of this lesson in that mindset. So I'm going to really start where we left off at the last health seminar, which was around hydrotherapy. So why is water so important to us? So basically, we're 70% water. Our bodies are 70% water. And we need water for all of these different functions, particularly removing waste, lubricating our joints, aiding in digestion, supporting our health, skin, and blood pressure. So a good way to start your day is with a big glass of cold water, maybe a squeeze of lemon, because that starts everything functioning. It helps to flush out all the toxins from the night where you've been recovering and repairing your tissues. It starts aiding your digestion, it boosts your immune system. And then drink less and less throughout the day, mainly between meals rather than during meals, because drinking with meals will delay the digestive process. And then drinking a lot late at night will probably interrupt your sleep. So start off with a big glass of water and then taper it out over the day. But not all water is the same. So you probably know that there are different forms that you can buy in the supermarket, from tap water, which we all have available. There's nothing wrong with drinking tap water. The tap water in Easton is perfectly drinkable in terms of it's regularly tested and falls within threshold limits for certain contaminants. So there's nothing wrong with drinking tap water. But I would certainly filter it if you're going to drink your tap water on a regular basis. Then there's what's called RO, or reverse osmosis water, and deionized water. This water doesn't have very many minerals in it. So for a drinking water, I would not recommend using this as a drinking source of your drinking water. And then you've probably all heard of alkaline water. So what is alkaline water? This is water that has the pH adjusted up, and this is supposed to help your body flush out toxins. You may see it called smart water or just sold as alkaline water. The science behind it is solid. It definitely does what it says it's going to do, but it's very expensive, and again, it's a treated water. So on a regular basis, there's absolutely no reason to buy alkaline water. Then there is mineral water or sparkling water and spring water. So really, what should we be drinking? Well, the answer is water with the lowest level of contaminants and the highest level of important minerals. So I would recommend spring water first and then mineral water second. So spring water is harvested under the rocks, and it's usually bottled and sourced and bottled at the site. Mineral water comes from the same layer mineral in the rock deposits, but it's usually treated and bottled off-site, so it may have other contaminants with it. So spring water is the way to go. Mineral water is a close second. But if you have to drink tap water, then be aware that there are going to be certain contaminants. So there are chemical contaminants. Our tap water is usually treated with chlorine. There's biological contaminants. There's bound to be bacteria in it. It's not a sealed system. There may be radiochemicals in there. Don't be alarmed. There's radon in almost every home in PA, and there's certainly some in our water supply. And then there are physical contaminants. So again, if you're going to drink tap water, and there's nothing wrong with drinking tap water, always use a filter, a Brita filter or a pure filter. They're very cheap, very easy to use, and they will turn your tap water into a very, very pure form of water that's perfectly drinkable and very healthy if you can't purchase mineral water and spring water. But also what you drink your water out of is very important. And this is kind of a pet peeve for me because I've seen firsthand the effect. Drinking out of a glass bottle is the way to go. And I know it's more expensive to buy glass bottled of water. But plastics are high in chemicals that leach into the water. A plastic bottle produces what are called microplastics. Every time you unscrew that lid, you are releasing microplastics into that water. And it's damaging for the environment. So if you're going to either use a Brita filter at home, then use a glass bottle or you can buy aluminum bottles to carry your water around during the day. Much, much healthier than using a plastic bottle. So each time you open a plastic bottle, you release about 200,000 microparticles into that water every time you unscrew it. So think of the number of times that you may handle that bottle of water. You may end up with millions, billions of particles in the water. And why is that important? Well, it releases chemicals that are called endocrine disruptors. That's a rather fancy way of saying it really messes up your cells on a molecular level. It stops your hormones from working properly. So your hunger hormones, your mood hormones, they all get dulled down. And over time, that becomes a problem because our bodies are not built for removing these microparticles very efficiently. So if you want to make one key change to your health, it's change your water from a plastic bottle to a glass bottle. These are some of the things that plastics also do to our bodies, not to alarm anybody, but it affects all of our organs. We found microparticles in our brains, particularly associated with plaques, which are involved in Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease, found in the thyroid. So we all know people who have thyroid problems. And a lot of this may be due to microparticles accumulating in the tissue. And it's the response to those that really creates the issue and leads to what's called autoimmune disease. So the body doesn't see it as itself anymore. It sees the plastic as being foreign, and it starts attacking itself, essentially. Breathing difficulties, we found microparticles in the lung, in the liver, and in our digestive tract. So we also have a lot of harmful chemicals in our home, unfortunately. So I know this is quite a lot to take in, but on the left you will see a list of chemicals that are in the average home. They come from a range of different things, from our furniture to our carpets, to our water pipes, to a lot of the fabrics that we have in our home. So make sure that your bedding, for example, is cotton. That's a good way to go. When you use detergents, if you can use detergents and washing solutions that are perfume-free and as pure as possible, all of that will really help to minimize the burden on your body. We can't avoid the exposure. The exposure is everywhere. The exposure is in the air, it's in the water, it's in the food we eat. But what we can do is minimize that burden, and then through series of mitigation, avoid or eliminate the damage that it's going to create. So another one is flame retardants. That's a big one. All of these things accumulate in our bodies over time. And again, being aware of this will help us make healthier choices when we go out and purchase our cleaning supplies, new carpets, new bedding, new clothing. All of that will make a big difference. So what the good thing is that we are amazing. We are wonderfully made. Psalm 139, 13 to 14, for you are created, my innermost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. So now I want to show you how wonderful the human body really is and what we can do to boost ourselves and mitigate all of this damage that is coming from outside. So one of the ways that that God has provided this is with what's called the microbiome. And you've probably all heard of the microbiome and you have no idea what it is because we don't really know what it is either. It's a big mystery in medicine. We find different microbiomes in our noses, in our mouths, in our lungs, in our digestive tracts, and on our skin. We initially get our microbiomes from our mum. So when we're born, she seeds us with the microbiome. Mother's milk also seeds the microbiome. So typically, if you look at a mother and a baby, they will have very similar profiles of microbiome, which is a good thing. A microbiome is essentially a layer that God has provided between the outside environment and our tissues. So it lines our mouths, it lines our digestive tracts, it lines our lungs, it lines our skin. And it is the most fundamental and foundational thing in our health and well-being. We don't know how to well describe it, but we've trying to figure out how to sustain it and to keep it healthy. And so I'll be giving you some tips moving forward. But let's start at the mouth, since that's the beginning of the microbiome route. Don't use alcohol-based mouthwashes. That's an easy fix. Amen. So that will allow your natural microbiome to flourish. You can use non-alcohol-based mouthwashes. They're perfectly fine. Toothpaste is perfectly fine. But anything that's alcohol-based will just disrupt that mouth microbiome, and it will lead to gum disease and tooth decay and bad breath and all the things that we want to avoid. Same thing with the nose. If you get a cold, don't go spraying Sinex up there. That's horrible. There are things called neti pots, which you may have heard of, and you're able to flush out your sinus cavity just with a saline solution. You can put a bit of tea tree oil in there as well, and that will help contain the infection but maintain the microbiome in the nose. In lung tissue, amazingly enough, they have shown that certain people who did very, very well through COVID had very healthy lung microbiomes. So we're slowly figuring out how that all comes together. But probably the one that you've all heard of is the microbiome in your digestive tract. And you've probably all seen the supplements in CVS. And I'm going to try and explain what all of these things are. So basically, what is the signs of a good gut microbiome? Well, regular bowel movements, consistent energy, normal mental clarity. If you have any effects that suddenly change in any of those, that probably is because of your microbiome not being particularly healthy. But the good thing is you can do something about it. It's very easy to fix. Why is this important? Well, a poor microbiome, so a microbiome that's not healthy, can lead to IBS and Crohn's disease. You may have heard of people having stomach ulcers. The stomach ulcers are because they have bad bacteria in their stomach. It's not because they're stressed. It's not because they eat poorly. Well, it is because they eat poorly that have a bacterial infection. But now we're finding out that depression, that autism, that Alzheimer's disease, that Parkinson's disease are all related to your microbiome. So this is why it really is fundamental, a foundational aspect to our health and well-being. I'm going to try and not make this too scientific because I can get a bit carried away. But basically, your microbiome is made up of trillions of different bacteria, fungi, and viruses. And we get them from our mothers when we're young, and then we maintain them through the foods that we eat. That means eating lots of fruits, vegetables, and fermented dairy products, all the things that are outlined in this book. And that's why it's so amazing. Everything that we should be doing, that God is telling us that we should be doing, is directly involved in helping to keep a healthy microbiome. So you probably heard of these three things: probiotics, prebiotics, and postbiotics, but have no idea what they are. So I'm going to hopefully explain this to you. So probiotics, those are the most common. And those are little capsules that you can buy in the supermarket. They have all different types. Those are actually the living bacteria that you want to take, and then they will essentially live in your digestive tract. And that's what creates what's called the gut microbiome. And then there are prebiotics. So prebiotics are the food for the probiotics. So sometimes you'll see supplements that have both. It's always a good idea to buy a supplement that has a probiotic and a prebiotic. And now we have things called postbiotics. Postbiotics are the molecules, the compounds that all these bacteria make that are actually really beneficial for us. So they're beneficial in that they help the good bacteria to grow, they help kill off the bad bacteria, and they help maintain our health and well-being. So you've got prebiotics, probiotics, and postbiotics. If you're looking for a supplement in the in the pharmacist, look for one that is a probiotic and a prebiotic combined. Look for one that has more than one ingredient, and it should be fine. They're very, very high quality these days. When they first came out, they were a bit, hit or miss whether you got a good product or a bad product, but nowadays the standard's excellent. So even the brand names like Align, they're very, very good products to use on a daily basis. But in an ideal world, you would be able to maintain your own gut health just with diet. So here I've listed foods that are prebiotics, foods that are probiotics, and foods that are postbiotics. And as you can see, there are a list of many of the fruits and vegetables that we have been talking about recently. The fruits, the vegetables, oatmeal, for example, as well, garlic, tempeh, which is a soy-based meat substitute. So as you can see, these are all the foods that we regularly talk about eating. And these really fulfill all the needs to keep our microbiome and our gut healthy. So prebiotics are the food, probiotics, seed, and postbiotics are the bioactive compounds that these generate. And there are many, like sourdough bread, that is both a probiotic and a postbiotic. And if you look at the list, you'll see that there are plenty here. You don't need a lot of them every day. A cup of vegetables is enough. A cup of fruit is enough. But you do have to have them every day just to keep your microbiome healthy. You also need what are called insoluble and soluble fibers. So these keep your regular. They keep the digestive tract moving very efficiently, which helps you flush out all of these toxins that you're being exposed to every day. So again, lots of fruits and vegetables. Whole grains are another big one. And you do not need a lot every day. Again, why is this so important? Because our microbiome affects everything. It affects your mood, it affects your sleep, it affects your blood pressure, it affects how hungry you are, it affects your energy levels. It really does communicate. It links that gut to your brain. And so the days when you feel very stressed, it will affect your microbiome. You may need to take a probiotic just to get through it. They kind of communicate with each other. So I can't emphasize enough that to maintain a healthy microbiome, eat a plant-based diet, try and get high nutrient density, and essentially eat the rainbow. So if it is a colored fruit or vegetable, it's going to be good for you. So then we always have to make the choice between organic and conventional fruits and vegetables. And I'm very aware that organic vegetables and fruits are very, very expensive, but there really is a reason why, at least for some of them, you should be buying organic. So what's the difference? Essentially, conventional or just regular supermarket fruits and vegetables, they are sprayed with fertilizers, they're sprayed with pesticides, they're sprayed with herbicides, and all of those chemicals are either in or on the fruit and vegetable, and essentially you'll be. So wherever possible, go for organic, so that's fertilized with manure and compost. Crop rotation is used to manage weeding, so we don't get any of those herbicides. Pest control is done with more natural methods, so we don't get the pesticide spray on there. And then they are certified, so they have to reach a certain standard to be called organic, which means that somebody has actually checked that that fruit and vegetable is grown a certain way. So it's always difficult to explain to people when they should buy organic versus conventional. Originally, I would tell people, if you're not going to eat the peel of the vegetable or the fruit, then it's okay to buy conventional because you're going to remove the peel. The peel will contain most of these bad chemicals. And that typically is the case, but there are a dozen that I have listed here that you should always buy organic, because these fruits and vegetables, when they grow, they absorb all of the pesticides and the herbicides into the meat of the fruit or the vegetable. So peeling them will not remove a sufficient amount. So those are apples, peaches, strawberries, grapes, nectarines, celery, spinach, bell peppers, cucumbers, potatoes, tomatoes, and snap peas. You can see that there's really no rhyme or reason. Some of them you peel, some of them you don't peel. Then there are the fruits and vegetables that really don't absorb a lot of these chemicals into the meat or the under the skin, the flesh of the fruit or the vegetables. So these, it's okay to buy conventional rather than go for organic if it's really expensive. So that's avocado, asparagus, cabbage, kiwi, cantaloupe, sweet corn, sweet peas, mango, eggplant, cauliflower, pineapple, onions, papaya, grapefruit, and sweet potatoes, which we've discussed previously as all being wonderful for your health. So these are the rules that are recommended now. It would be great if we could all grow our own fruits and vegetables, and I know that there are a couple, there's Sister Alison and Sister Gloria here who are wonderful gardeners. I am not a wonderful gardener. The only thing that I'm able to grow is weeds and peppers. But if you can grow your own, that's even better. You don't have to worry about this at all. And then I just wanted to explain how you should shop for fruits and vegetables. How do you really know what you're buying? So you know those little stickers that you find on your fruits and vegetables in the supermarket? So 4-digit code usually. If it begins with the number 4, that means it's a standard conventional fruit or vegetable. If it's prefixed with the number 9, that means it's certified organic. If it's prefixed with the number 8, I would say avoid it like the plague, because that means that it is genetically modified. So genetically modified vegetables and fruits are created with a gene of resistance to a certain chemical. So it's usually a herbicide, and then the manufacturers of that chemical sell it to the farmer, and then the farmer can use as much of that chemical as they want because they know that their crop won't be affected by it. So not only is it genetically modified or changed, but it has heavy doses of this particular pesticide or herbicide or both. So unfortunately, it's very prevalent in the US now, particularly in things like sweet corn is a big one. It's banned in many parts of Europe because of the high levels of chemicals that GMOs have, but unfortunately it's still available here. So I would say avoid any produce that has the number 8 on the sticker. So I wanted to kind of think about this in a new way. I think we've become kind of complacent to all the things that we're exposed to. But in the same way that we're battling a spiritual battle on a day-to-day basis, we should really think about the battle that we face for our own health and wellness on a day-to-day basis, and really make that a daily commitment to limit as much exposure as possible, and then to help mitigate the damage that it's doing to our bodies. Because as you can see on this list, we're getting it from everywhere. We're getting it from the food that we eat, the water we drink, the air that we breathe, medications that we take. You know, it's coming from all these different areas in our lives, and we can't avoid them. They're going to happen. We're going to be exposed. But as I said previously, the body is an amazing thing, and what we are able to do is detox. So, well, this is what people think detox is. They think that it's drinking juices, restrictive food plans, fasting, detox teas, and trendy biohacks. And to some extent, definitely fasting helps. Fasting is a good way of flushing out some of these toxins from our tissues, but then you have to drink it with a lot of, take it with a lot of water just to flush those out. Juices are wonderful. I can say juice juice away as much as you want. Detox teas, great, but don't use a tea bag. So tea bags each release about 2 billion microparticles. And this was horrific to me, and I love tea. And so I've had to throw away all of my tea bags. Do not use a tea bag. Buy one of those tea balls where you can just put the loose tea into the tea ball, or get a teapot and just strain it. But teas are great, tea bags are awful. What you actually need is restful sleep, hydrating with minerals, so get that spring water or that mineral water, add salts to it if you feel like you need more hydration. Support your liver. Hydrotherapy is great because it will allow you to sweat out all of these toxins. Cut out toxic relationships. Now, it may seem a bit weird, but having toxic relationships and toxic situations in your life actually changes you physiologically.
Amen.
It creates a lot of stress that we may not even realize how profound it is, but that can really create a lot of toxins and hormonal changes in your body that will have a profound effect, particularly over time. It's like a chronic stress in your body. So as we get older, we are allowed to do more things, so you can just say no and cut out all those toxic relationships. The other thing is limiting blue light. Sounds a bit strange, and I'll talk about that later in relation to sleep. But blue light inhibits the production of melatonin. And that means that your circadian rhythm, your sleep cycle, is really knocked off by blue light. And blue light is everywhere, particularly on our phones and on TV. So just being aware of it can help you manage that more appropriately. And then eating adequately. You really do need carbohydrates. You need the right amount of proteins, and you need fats. You need good, healthy fats. So a balanced diet is important for it. And again, all of these things are in here. It's just that now we understand why they're so important to us. So I've put here a list of good teas, and these are teas that I've made in the past. They're very tasty. They all have anti-inflammatory effects. They're packed full of antioxidants, and they don't use tea bags. So very simple things like lemongrass, slices of ginger. There's a chai tea that's made with chia seeds, dandelion tea, big one on dandelions. A little bit of honey to sweeten them is always a good thing. And again, you can make tea from anything. You can make tea from any fruit, vegetable, leaf, herb. Just don't do it with a tea bag. And add a little bit of lemon, add a bit of honey, and it will have all the benefits that you can possibly expect. Another one is kefir. I'm not sure if anybody here, it's a bit like a thick yogurt. It's very refreshing, packed full of good microbes. So it's going to make your microbiome very happy and very healthy. Kombucha, I have never tried kombucha, but everybody I know has. They all say it's delicious. And then you can just infuse your water with some fruits. For fall, a big one of my favorites is apple cider vinegar and honey. Very, very easy. Just some apple cider vinegar, hot water, and honey. It's really, really anti-inflammatory. It's very cleansing for you. Very easy, very, very easy to drink. Another one is peppermint and ginger. That's a big one of my favorites because I am able to grow peppermint in my garden. And then chamomile and lavender if you're having problems sleeping. So really just try out a few different things. Just try herbs with lemon. Honey is always a good addition, but keep it simple and you can really, really help detox. So got it down to 7 daily steps for detoxing. Drink and eat your veggies. So you can't go wrong just by creating smoothies or juicing, but make sure every single day you eat a good amount of fresh vegetables and fresh fruits. Eat less, so minimize your consumption of non-organic wherever possible, and drink lots of water. So if possible, mineral water, spring water, or if you can get alkaline water, that will really help detox you as well. But it's important to start your day with a big gulp of water. And then move. Exercise really is important because it gets your digestive tract moving. It makes you breathe deeper. That cleans out your lungs. It also moves what's called your lymphatic system. So your immune system is based in your lymph tissue. The more you move, the more it moves. and that really helps your immune system to do what it's supposed to do and fight off all of these bad invading bacteria and toxins and everything else. And then get some sunshine. So sunshine will boost your mood, it will boost your vitamin D production. Very, very important that every day we get a little bit of sunshine. And if you can't get out enough and you're feeling like it's affecting your mood, definitely get one of those day lights. They really can help people who have seasonal mood deficiencies based on vitamin D deficiency. Nothing wrong with them. You can just put them on for half an hour while you're working. You don't even know it's there, and it can really help maintain during winter. And then the last one is relax, breathe, and I've added pray. Relaxation, learning how to relax, learning to listen to your body when it's stressed out. Again, cutting out those toxic relationships and toxic situations. Learn to listen to what your body is saying to you with regards to the level of stress that you're under. So there are several organs that our body has to detox, to get rid of all these pesticides, herbicides, lead, whatever else we're exposed to. They all work in very, very different ways, and we need to support them in very, very different ways. So the two that I'm going to focus on tonight are the two largest. So that's the liver and the skin. So the skin is probably the largest organ for detoxing that we have. The liver is one that we mostly think of, at least in medical circles, when we think about detox. So there's kind of two phases to how you detox. There's phase one, where you break down the toxins, and our liver is the main organ for doing that. It's really very efficient at doing that, incredibly efficient. The liver is one of the few organs that can regenerate itself. So even when you've been living a very, very bad lifestyle and eating not very well, your liver can grow back and be as robust as ever, just given the right time and the right nutrients. So in order to break down these nutrients, we need all those things that we talk about in Food for Thought. So those fat-soluble vitamins, A, C, D3, and E, calcium, antioxidants, vitamin B, all the things that we get in our daily diet through our fruits and vegetables. So incorporate these, incorporate nuts, and then sunshine. Very, very important to start the breakdown of toxins. And then phase two, it's a lot also to do with our diet, but more of the protein side of things. So that's where we really need our proteins in the form of eggs or nuts. And these proteins break down into these fragments called amino acids. And amino acids are really the kind of gatekeepers for detoxification via the liver. So again, incorporating a lot of fruits and vegetables, high quality proteins, and then lots and lots of water. And doing all of that, your liver is able to really detox very, very efficiently. And then there's through the skin. So this is probably one of my favorites, an Epsom salt bath. We've probably all heard of them. You can either do a whole body or you can do just a foot bath. But Epsom salts are wonderful at kind of pulling toxins out of our body through our skin very efficiently. So here I've just given what I typically do to prepare. Drink lots of water before you even get in the bath, because the Epsom salts will draw water out of your body. So you want to make sure that you're well hydrated before you get in the bathtub. I typically use about 2 cups of Epsom salts, 1 cup of baking soda. So the baking soda detoxifies and alkalates the body. I use about 1/4 cup of Himalayan salt. That's really good for the skin. Apple cider vinegar, again, about 1/4 cup. That's very smoothing for the skin. 1 teaspoon or tablespoon rather of ginger. So ginger really helps boost your blood supply and tingles and smells good. Very, very good for the skin. And then whatever essential oils you want to smell like at the end of the bath. So a good one is lavender if you're going to take a bath before you go to bed. I love tea tree and I love eucalyptus. They're very refreshing. But you can use almost any oil. Then before you get in the bath, always do a dry rub or a dry brush, and that gets your skin exfoliated and it gets your lymph nodes, the lymphatic system moving. That really helps the process of detoxification, and then you can get in the bath for 20 to 40 minutes. If you did that one thing every week, that would really, really help detoxify your body. very easy, very relaxing. Probably would help you sleep if you do it at the end of the day. And then we've talked about castor oil in previous seminars. This is really kind of the miracle oil. So if there's one oil that you treat your body with, it should be castor oil. I put it in my bath when I have my Epsom salt bath. I also put it on my skin if I have a wound or keeping a wound clean. I used to use it when I had acne. Luckily, I don't get acne anymore. But it's a wonderful, wonderful oil. What I would say is don't make your own. Always buy castor oil. Don't press your own because castor beans are packed with a toxin called ricin. And when they make castor oil for therapeutic applications, they've removed that product. And so what is left is called ricinoleic acid, which is a kind of fat that has all of these benefits to our bodies. If you are using DMSO, I would always recommend DMSO with castor oil to alleviate pains in joints or muscle pains. So this really can do an awful lot for us. We can use it either directly on the skin or in a bath. If you're going to use it as a pack or a compress, it fits very well into the hydrotherapy protocol that Pastor Moody taught us. So just get a cotton cloth, soak it with the castor oil, place it on the body part that you are looking to treat, and then wrap it in a warm towel. So it's particularly useful for women during their menstrual cycle where they may have cramps or they may have breast pain. Castor oil can really help alleviate all of that, but the benefits go way beyond that. It can certainly help alleviate pains in joints from arthritis or just from soreness. If you've pulled a muscle or strained a joint, then a castor oil pack will definitely help. But it really has been shown to have multiple health benefits that go way beyond just joint pain. So there are plenty of videos online on how to use castor oil packs. It is a wonderful solution, a kind of first to go to if you don't want to use traditional pain management, then for muscle pains or joint pains, then definitely try a castor oil compress first and see. And then 1 Corinthians 6:19 to 20. You should know that your body is the temple for the Holy Spirit that you received from God and that lives in you. You don't own yourselves. God paid a very high price to make you his. So honor God with your body. So what I'm going to finish on is sleep. And I really have no business talking about sleep because I am terrible at sleep. But do as I say and not as I do. And you hopefully will get better at it than I am. So I want you to think about sleep health in a completely different way. So I want you to think about how long you sleep, the quality and depth of the sleep that you get, what is called sleep latency, which is how long it takes you to fall asleep once you get into bed, the number of times that you awake during the night. All of these really impact the quality of sleep that you get. And sleep really is another foundational aspect to our health because it's during our sleep that we do most of our detoxification. We do most of our tissue repair. Our brains actually get rid of a lot of the waste products during the night. That's why when you've had a really bad night's sleep, the next day you feel very foggy. It's because your brain hasn't recovered. So sleep is critically important for overall health. So how can we improve it? So one, during the day, make sure you get outside and get some sunshine. That way it will kind of reset your circadian rhythm. You'll know what day is versus what night is. If you're always in your basement watching TV, your body really doesn't know when it's day and when it's night. It doesn't know when to switch off into sleep mode. So make sure you get out and about every single day, get some sunshine, get some bright light. Again, limit that blue light exposure close to bedtime. So what does that mean? That means 2 hours. You should not be watching TV. I know that's hard. You should not be looking at your laptop. I know that's very hard. And you should not be looking at your phones. If you have to look at your phones, and I understand that we live in an era where we are expected to be available almost 24/7, there are apps that you can download. One is called Flux. which will, at a certain time of the day, change the light on your phone to reduce the level of blue light. So you can program it to start reducing the level of blue light at 7 p.m. So you'll see that the color is slightly changed, but that means by the time you're ready to go to bed at 9, 10 o'clock, that exposure to the blue light will be that much lower. So I highly recommend that you all look into getting one of these apps on your devices. Obviously, don't consume caffeine. I know we don't generally consume caffeine, but it really will knock out your circadian rhythm quite significantly. Try and be consistent, and I know we all like to sleep in on the weekends, but it really is so much better for you if you can just go to bed and get up at the same day every day. I'm naturally set as an early riser, and I still get up very early even on the weekends. And if I try and sleep in, I generally can't. Obviously, if you're exhausted and you want to sleep in, that's a different matter. But the more consistent you are on a day-to-day basis, the more your body will get into a natural rhythm, and you'll find falling asleep at night much easier. Again, avoid drinking alcohol. We shouldn't be drinking it anyway. But keep your bedroom temperature cool. So I love sleeping in a cold room. I would avoid having a fan. I know some people say they can't sleep without a fan, but the fan will put a lot of dust in the air, and that could mean that you'll wake up with a lot of sinus issues. So if you can eliminate the need for a fan, that would be great. Avoid eating late. I say, typically don't eat after 7 p.m. at night. When I don't get home until 8 p.m., I still eat, obviously. But it's always a good idea to leave at least a couple of hours for your body to finish digesting the meal before you go to bed. Take a relaxing bath or shower is an obvious one. Include physical activity during your day. We need that physical activity. Generally, 20 to 40 minutes a day is highly recommended. But don't do it late at night, because actually physical activity can wake you up. It's one of those counterintuitive things. You may be physically tired, but your body is telling you to keep going. So it's actually completely the wrong time to work out. So if you can work out in the morning, not only will it boost your metabolism so much more, you'll have more energy during the day, and you should be better at falling asleep. And then wind down at least 30 minutes before bed. So what does that mean? Well, it means reading a book. It doesn't mean looking at the television. Maybe taking your dog for the last walk of the day if he wants to go out. But just do something relaxing and not stimulating. And then really the environment where you go to bed, that's really important. So tips for a better bedroom, for a better night's sleep. So keep it very simple. Keep your bedroom as tidy and stimulation-free as possible. So no TV. If you have a digital alarm clock, either face it away from you, or in all honesty, don't have a digital alarm clock, because there's a lot of light coming off of that. And believe it or not, that will really stimulate your brain more than you realize. Definitely use curtains, heavy-duty curtains, to block out as much light as possible, especially during the summer. You'll notice that you'll be up at the crack of dawn when the sun rises otherwise, and you want to try and maintain that schedule. If you do have a problem with light and you don't have heavy curtains, then absolutely use the eye mask and the earplugs. They can really help block out all of these sensory things that keep us awake at night. And then things that you should not have in your bedroom. Again, clutter. We don't think about clutter as being a stimulant, but I'm sure when you go in there and you see that big pile of laundry that you should be taking downstairs, then you're thinking about the laundry and you're not relaxed enough to go to sleep. And it's kind of tricking the brain into doing what it's supposed to do to fall asleep naturally. So declutter your bedroom. Absolutely never have a TV in your bedroom. Worst idea ever. Forget about work. Never work in your bedroom. So your bedroom should be a totally separate space from where you work on a day-to-day basis. And then this is the one that I struggle with. Put pets in a different room, because I have 2 cats who love to sleep with me, but they really should not be in the bed with you. So it seems very obvious, but I'm sure when we go home and we look at our bedrooms, we'll see just how many of these rules that we break in our own lives. But they really do make a big, big difference. So I just wanted to end with Proverbs 3, verse 24. When you lie down, you will not be afraid. When you lie down, your sleep shall be sweet. And then Psalm 4, verses 8. In peace I will both lie down and sleep, for you alone, O Lord, dwell in safety. That. Do you have any questions? I love questions, so if anybody has any questions. Yes.
When you mention about the tea bag, suppose you already have some tea bags. Should you take the tea out of the bag and
Yes.
fix it loose?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I did. So I had a lot of teas that I had accumulated over the years, and then I realized just how bad the tea bags were.
The actual
Just
bag.
cut them out and put the tea in either a tea bowl or put it in the teapot or strain it out. But yeah, you can still use the tea.
Okay, but not the
Not
the
the
bag.
bag.
Yeah, so we got the answer.
In the past, I learned that vinegar is bad for us to ingest because it helps to slow down the circulation of the blood. Is there a difference between the apple cider and
Great
the
question.
regular?
That is a wonderful
Vinegar.
question. So there's a difference in acidity. When you drink apple cider vinegar, it actually alkalizates your body. It doesn't acidify your body. So apple cider vinegar is what's called a Zwitter ion, which means it can be both acidic and alkaline. And in our bodies, it forms a more alkaline solution. What you want to avoid is drinking things like balsamic vinegar is a little more acidic. It's still very good on a salad, for example. That would be great, but you wouldn't want to ingest it the same as apple cider vinegar. Plus, apple cider vinegar has a lot more minerals and vitamins. It's just generally very cleansing for our bodies and very well tolerated.
I have another question about the water. You said that we should start our morning by drinking water and
Yes.
with the lemon. And then you said that we should, as the day goes on, that we gradually taper off. Going back to grade school, we learned that we should drink 8 glasses of water on a daily basis. Is that still the standard, or would less be enough, or more? Is there any rule?
Great
change here?
question. Our bodies have a great way of showing us when they need water and we get thirsty. So 8 glasses is a good target to have. Not everybody needs 8 glasses. Some people need more than 8 glasses. You should also get a lot of your water through your fruits and vegetables too that are very high in water. So I think it's more important to start your day with a tolerable big glass of water and then let your body tell you when it needs more.
When it needs more.
Yeah, and it doesn't just have to be water. Teas are wonderful. Juices are wonderful.
Yes. It
you know,
all counts as
it
part
all
of it.
counts
Yes.
towards it, yes. But just tapering it off as you go to the end of the day will hopefully prevent you from waking up in the night because you have the
To go.
restroom. Yeah,
Okay.
which is that disrupts your sleep. So it's kind of counterbalancing all the benefits that you would get from hydration.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Difference. What's the difference between regular salt and Epsom salt? Like, what is Epsom salt?
Epsom salt is magnesium salt. Yeah, so magnesium is really good for our bodies because it helps with our muscles and muscle relaxation. It has multiple benefits in terms of circulation, digestive tract, and we absorb magnesium through our skin very efficiently. Salt is sodium. So it's usually sodium or a little bit of potassium. The Himalayan salt that I recommend adding to the bath, that is sodium chloride and potassium chloride. And that just really, it acts as an exfoliant on your skin, so that's an added benefit. But it also helps to get electrolytes into your body in the same way. But Epsom salts are magnesium salts. And you can buy them now where they're mixed with different essential oils. So you can buy them where they have lavender oil already incorporated. Wonderful products. And again, you only need 2 cups in a bag. So a bag lasts you for a long time.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you for that presentation. What do you have to say about distilled water?
So distilled water is very pure. So it doesn't have many of the chemicals that are in our tap water, but what it lacks are the minerals. It doesn't have the calcium, the phosphates, and that's okay, but if you only drink distilled water, then you're going to lack that as a source of your minerals. You want to maintain your mineral levels because your bones need regeneration every day, your tissues need that regeneration every day. So there's nothing wrong with it, but you're not going to get the benefits of the minerals in spring water or in mineral water. Plus, it doesn't taste very good, to be honest with you. The minerals in spring water and mineral water actually make it more palatable for us to drink. So distilled water actually doesn't taste very good for most people.
We drink distilled
You
water.
drink-
It tastes good.
You
It
like-
tastes good.
Everybody's different, yes.
But I do agree that maybe we should reconsider and perhaps go to the spring water.
Spring water
Now
is the
that you
best.
mentioned what's missing
Yeah.
in the distilled water, maybe when we go on our way home, we'll talk about it. And,
And again,
and
you
maybe
can
we
mix
might
it.
consider the spring water,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Yeah. And again, also one of the bad things about distilled water these days, it's all in plastic
Exactly.
also.
Yes.
And when you do get it, when you do find it in a glass bottle, it costs a whole lot more.
Right.
It costs a whole lot more.
And that's where you can, you can buy the large plastic bottles, but don't keep the water in there. Aliquot it out, so it's either in your little stainless steel water jug or in a glass bottle. That's for the kind of the long-term use. So
Yeah.
much better. And certainly never, ever, ever, another pet peeve of mine, never, ever leave a plastic water bottle in a hot car. You would be amazed how much chemical reaches from the plastic into the water in just car temperature levels of heat.
Yeah. That's interesting.
I think I mentioned to you guys that about 35 years ago, I bought a house. I bought the house in Southern California, 50 miles out of Palm Beach. And I want to tell you that Palm Beach is all desert. So what really happened is that we used to go to the beach, travel a good way to go outside there to the beach. One of the things that they found out that they couldn't understand is that a lot of people were coming down with cancer. And when they, searched into it, they found that they were getting the cancer from all of this water that they kept in the car. And it was the heat of the water in the car in these plastic bottles that was giving them cancer. So that's one of the main reasons why she's talking about now of avoiding any water, especially water in plastic, in the heat. It's one of the worst things that you can do.
Yeah.
Can I just say one more thing? Water. Since we're talking about water, this thing of 8 bottles of water, it is crazy. 8 cups maybe, yes. But you see, one of the things that we need to understand is this. Especially in the heat of the summer, you lose a lot of electrolytes. Now, if you're drinking water and either adding electrolytes or drinking water with electrolytes, then it's good. You don't need to drink all that bunch of water because you need the electrolytes.
Otherwise, you get muscle cramps.
That's right. Yes, yeah.
Amen.
So thank you for your presentation. And also, if you're lacking, like if you don't really care for water, have watermelon juice or
Yes.
watermelon. It's
Yeah.
full of electrolytes and it's
Absolutely.
wonderful for you.
Yeah. And
It's
it's good
another
sugar.
way of getting it.
Yes. Exactly. Love water.
Anybody else? I think that's it.
Thank you.